Hi, in today's how-to we're going to go in depth into what call flows are in GridSpace, how to use them, all the different features that a call flow has, and how you can leverage them best inside your own flows and phone systems. Now first we define what is a call flow. The call flow, as the name says, is the flow of the whole call. It defines where the caller comes in and also where the caller comes out. And also everything that happens in between. Now first we'll just jump into the GridSpace dashboard and we'll go into the call flow section. You'll find it in the sidebar here, the call flow section of the GridSpace UI, and we'll create a new call flow. And we'll call this call flow demo. We'll create this. And the first thing that will meet you is an inlet node, an empty inlet node. So here's where the caller is coming in. And we start by creating a phone number. So the phone number of the whole flow. You can either select an existing one or purchase a new number. And then you can roll this as many times as you want, and you can choose your customized area code for your area. Once you have purchased your number, you're ready to start the flow. How this works is we have a node system where each node in the call flow does something different. So we'll add a new node to the inlet node. So this is the first step. They'll come in and we add a new node. And here you see we have a few options. Now the most common one you're going to use is the voice agent node or the bot node. You select the voice agent node, and here is where you select your voice agent you're going to use for the flow, and also the playbook. So again, playbook is the script of the whole flow. And also a very useful tidbit here about the different nodes is that if you see here, once I've selected a voice agent and playbook, I can click on the inspect button right here, and it will again shortcut me straight into the playbook. So this is very useful if you're going to go into Cloudflow and create it and you want to double check your playbook, you can go quickly into it like so, and it will then shortcut to you right there. Now, once you have chosen your voice agent and playbook, you can see here there's also an option for voicemail detection. Now, this is used for outbound call flows. Now, of course, if Grace is calling up customers, it happens sometimes that it comes to voicemail. So if you are having an outbound call flow, you would like to turn this off, because then Grace will look for if it reaches a voicemail and try to end the call there. And also for ease of use and documentation's sake, let's say you create a call flow and you leave it and you come back later, it's also very good to name your different nodes and also give a description. So here we're going to call it the main voice agent, and also this is the intro voice agent of the flow. And as you see here, once we give it a name, the name of the node came up here. So best practice here is to give descriptive names and description to your nodes so you can know what you'll be building. Because sometimes you might go into another part of your system to develop something or work on something. And then when you come back to Callflow, you might have forgotten some things. So keeping it organized like this, it's very useful and best practice. Now, if we go a bit further down here, we can see we have a few options here for outcomes. It's not only one outcome as it was in the inlet node. Inlet node also has one outcome, but in other nodes, we have different outcomes. So for example, here in the bot node, we have our playbook outcomes, which is based on the playbooks. We have created outcomes in the playbooks that will come here. And then you have the default outcomes, which are included in each node. And they are the default if no other outcome is triggered. And you have a few options there. So you have the default regular one, which you can then, if none of these are triggered, it will go to this one. Then we have the error outcome, which is based on a failover for the voice agent. So if the voice agent is not able to help the caller within a certain span of tries, then it will default to this node and then probably then forward it to a live agent. So where you can find this, if we go into the voice agent and we then click on the settings of the voice agent, and if you scroll all the way down, you can see here we have a number of failover tries. It's basically how many tries the voice agent will try to help the caller, or if it's it's misunderstanding or doesn't understand it. And let's say if you put it at 3 times, then the voice agent will try 3 times to understand the caller or help the caller. If it fails 3 times, then it will default to this error node. And then we have the hang up icon, which basically, if the caller hangs up, it defaults to this node so that you can run different scripts after the caller hangs up, like sending out an SMS to some employee or run some scripts afterwards. So they can kind of do actions after the call has ended. And then we have the last default outcome here, which is the escalate outcome. And here you can see here the call is forwarded to this node if the user requests to speak with a human agent. So if the caller says, I would like to speak to a human, it can then escalate to this node automatically. So now that we understand a bit more different outcomes, we can then go in to create the next part of the flow. For example, here I would like actually for the caller to book appointments if they have, if they go on Playbook and say, "Hey, I would like to book an appointment." We go into this outcome, and then here we can also talk a bit about the different child nodes of the call flow. So we have our voice agent node, we have our connector, hosted scripts, a play recording, outlet, and hang up node. And then the connector node is, again, here we can run connectors. These are custom scripts that will run in between different nodes. Then we have hosted scripts, which are basically applications you can create inside GridSpace if you would really like to code and customize yourself. Then we have a play recording node, which is basically you're able to play a recording, pre-recording of something you would like to tell the caller. You can upload your own audio file in the correct format right here to do that. And then we have the outlet node, which is then here you can forward the caller to, let's say, a live agent. Then you can choose to have a static phone number or zip address that will forward to, or you can also have a dynamic number based on a tag in the session. And then here, the last node, you have the hang up node, which is basically self-explanatory. It hangs up the phone and ends the call. But what I would like to do here is I would like to get some available times from Google Calendar here. So I add a connector here. And I add the connector I've already pre-created from a Google Calendar connector. And after I've run the connector and gotten the available times, I'd like to run another voice agent node, which will then handle the appointment booking. And once I've chosen my voice agent and playbook, I then would like to just end the call right there. And then if I go back to our original voice agent node, I would like to add the other options here. So if they ask for a human, I would like to escalate. I will have an outlet node. And same with the error or failover path, I would like it to escalate to an agent. And something to note here. So you see here, once I'm going to add a node here, you see we have two kind of spaces in add child. So we have the blank nodes and we have available nodes. Now, the blank nodes, every time you choose a node here, you're going to create a new node. And here you're going to choose from existing nodes. Now, I could create an extra outlet node for this, but if I do this for all the different outcomes, it might be a bit messy and it creates extra things in the flow that I don't necessarily need. So what I will actually do is if I go to the error node again, and I will go into available nodes, and I will pick the same outlet node because it goes to the same place if it's an escalation or error, to keep it all streamlined and clean. Of course, I'm also going to put in a number here to forward out to. Also in the outlet node, we have a check mark, which is proxy outlet, which basically, if GridSpace is forwarding the call to another phone system, if this is checked, it will keep recording the call even though it goes to another system. If you uncheck this, the recording will stop of the call once it's forwarded to another system. And then also for our main voice agent node, I'm going to choose the same hangup node that we already created. I'm not going to create a new one. I'm going to choose from a available hangup node, which it goes again. You can see here, both going to the same hangup node. And also note here for visual UI representation, if you click on a node, you can see all the different connected outcomes here and in it. Same with here, which if you click on the connector node, you can see it comes in from there and goes out there. So this is an easy way to kind of see if you have a lot of things happening in the call flow, to click on a node and you will see the different paths it's taking. And now I should have gone over all the different nodes inside the call flows. And also note here, you need to save between each time you do some editing to the call flow because it doesn't auto-save. So we're going to save it. And then also I'm going to go down and show you something about this bar right here. Now here we now only have one inlet node, but you can of course add more inlet nodes if you would like. If you would like more inlets to the same call flow, you have maybe numbers on websites, on social media, etc. You can add as many inlet nodes as you would like and connect them into the bot. And then, of course, buy as many numbers as you have funds to do. Now also note here, let's say I did something and I would like actually, I would actually like to revert back to the default or the original state of my call flow. I can then click revert. Then we'll go back to my last save point where I've saved the call flow if I've done something that I didn't like to do, or maybe I messed up a bit. And of course, inside the call flow, I might mess up a bit. And then let's say I go outside of where the call flow is. If I click this button, it will go center again straight to the call flow. So that's a nice UI thing to keep in mind. And also here, the last part here is that we have logs. Now, this is very useful for testing. Now, let me show you what I mean. So here we would like to actually log tags between nodes as well. And Now we're going to log each step the caller is going to take through the call flow. I'm going to call up the inlet now and I'm going to show you what I mean.
Hi, my name is Grace, your voice agent assistant. How can I help you today?
I actually like to book an appointment.
Let me book an appointment for you.
So I'm just going to end the call right there, but then here you can see what happened in the span of when I went through each flow. If I can just also drag this upwards, I can see more. And here you can see happen which node I came into, what node I go out to. And also when I click this check mark, it also logs what tags are created in between each node. So here, if you follow the log, I see here I came into the inlet node, I went into the voice agent node. And from the voice agent node, I went into the connector node. And then you also see here we have a tag, which is then got with caller intent, which is the tag I'm using in the playbook to record the steps the caller takes. And then once it was inside the Google Calendar node connector, you can see here that it got all these different available times, which then this is set inside the Google Calendar. And then you see it got all these available times for it to then use in the next node, which then will then book the appointment for me. Now, the reason I wanted to mention these logs is this is very useful for testing purposes. If you have maybe a complicated flow, if you have many things happening inside the flow and you get an error or you don't know where the caller is calling, this is very useful for calling up the call flow and see how the caller will move through each step of the process.